Well, hello, it's Bubba here, and we are doing another episode of The People Around Me. I am sitting here in the office of the Angelina County Executive Director, uh, Brent Daniels with Love Inc. Brent, thank you so much for taking time out to visit with us today. I think a lot of folks, if they've heard of Love Inc., they may not necessarily know what Love Inc. is, what they do, what they offer. Make It Happen Missions. We're very proud to say this is our brand new partner, friend, and developing a relationship with them to help out in the areas that we can. And Brent, what I'd like to do is just kind of turn it over to you and let you tell our friends out there who Love Inc. is and how you serve the community.
Um, as a as an overall ministry, a national ministry, we were founded in 1976 by a gentleman named Dr. Virgil Gulker. He's still alive. He is a social worker, and he's in Holland, Michigan, is where it was founded at. And he saw a need with the churches that the churches are pretty busy doing what they do.
Yes.
So he found a need that churches couldn't handle, which is handling volunteers and being the hands and feet of Jesus through volunteer work. So he saw that need. He approached some churches in Holland, Michigan, and he got quite a few of them on board to do it. And then fast forward a few years, and Love Inc. and CISC, Christian Information Service Center. We've been partners with them since the first. Their director in 1992 gave Ken Smith, which is our founder, gave him a book called Help Is Just Right Around the Corner, written by Dr. Gulker. So Ken read that book and he said, "This is great. Angelina County needs something like this. Mobilize the churches to help volunteerism." So he read the book. He talked to a few of his business partners, and they decided they were going to give it a shot. Love Inc. requires that you have 8 churches supporting you before you launch your affiliate. Whenever they launched, 16 churches showed up.
Oh, wow.
At our initial launch in 1992. So started in 1992. We were not in this location. We were at another location we were in the back office of CISC, which we're still now on the back side of CISC. We share the building. So Ken then hired a director and got a staff together and started working with the churches. So what we do is, and our mission hasn't changed over the years. It's still the same. What we want to do is present the gospel to people. We want them to know Jesus Christ. How we do that is through our work, through helping the needy and helping the disadvantaged. We're able to present the gospel to them. Then what we do is we get a nonprofit or to come alongside and take care of the monetary part of it, and then I'll find a church take care of the spiritual part of it.
Okay.
If they don't have a church home and they don't have a denominational preference, I will find a church in their geographic area. I will call that pastor and say, "Hey, I have so and so, and they'd like to call for spiritual encouragement." So that pastor will hopefully call that person, talk to them, give them some spiritual encouragement. And there's been several that after the conversation, they've gotten the person to come to church and they became members
there
of the church. So I've got several stories of that. So,
well, let me ask you something. When you approach these churches, regardless of size, regardless of number of members, or whatever the case may be, do you give them the opportunity to say, "Hey, we'd love for you guys to come as individual, come and and volunteer with us in some form or fashion? And if so, what would be some of those opportunities for a church member to say, not like what they do, I want to become more a part of that? How do you do that? How do you process it?
That's actually is the original Loving model, was to go to the churches and get volunteers from the churches to do things in the community.
Absolutely.
This affiliate here, I've been here 2 years. The first year we were here, we were kind of building up our call center, building it back up. And that's all we had was the call center. You don't attract a lot of people to volunteer to answer phones. A lot of people don't like it. And then the hours that we have, our call center's open Monday through Thursday, 9 to 3. So we kind of rely on retired people to come in and answer our phones.
Sure.
So you don't find a whole lot of them just falling on trees.
Right.
So, and then it's a very you're dealing with people that are in a crisis situation. Their rent's due, or their rent's been due for 2 months, or their lights are about to be turned off, or the lights are already turned off, or the water's not on. So you're talking to people in crisis situations to begin with. So it takes a special kind of person to volunteer.
Right.
You can't. It's more than just picking up a phone. What I'm doing now, in this last year, I've kind of expanded it a little bit to where I have what's called a talent tithe inventory, and that's got several things on it, because we have a lot of people in our churches that have skills and talents.
Right. Absolutely.
And so, like in the church I go to, we have accountants that go to my church.
Mm-hmm.
We have business owners, with all kinds of things. So on this talent tithe inventory, I have things like mow someone's grass, or do light repairs on their home, help with budgeting. That's probably the biggest thing we see is people don't know how to budget their money, and it ends up being more month than they got money for.
Yes.
So they don't budget well. And I'm building towards that too, a transformational ministry to maybe teach some budgeting classes.
Absolutely.
There are entities in town, the Men's Field House and Mosaic Center. They offer budgeting classes and things like that. But Net Legacy Institute is great about that. But you can never have enough.
No.
You can never have enough education. So at some point, I'm going to build it up to where we're offering those type of things.
Brent, those are perfect opportunities for our folks out there, our friends that are going to church. And one of the biggest things that I've seen, and I grew up in church, is people believe because they don't preach, teach, or baptize, there's nothing they can do to help the kingdom or to be the hands or feet of Jesus. And we're all born with gifts, talents, and abilities that God has given us. And accountants, electricians, and, when we go into churches, we don't go in there saying, hey, we want you to build a chapter of Make It Happen missions. No, we want you to look at your facility and see what you have, the people there, and make it happen there. And if it's partnering with Love Inc. and saying, hey, we got some guys that can mow yards, and we've got some guys that, hey, if they need a little repair on their wheelchair ramp, hey, we'll be glad to come help. Here's our contact information. And that's how Make It Happen Missions and Love Inc. have formed the partnership is we're doing some of that now. But there's so many more people out there in these churches that have, believe that, hey, I don't make a difference. And that's not true. Let me ask you this. If someone was interested in, even if you're just one person, contacting you and say, hey, I can load my mower and weed eater up. I'd love to help out. How do you get those folks in? Yes.
They would call our number, 936-637-6637. You talk to me or our volunteer coordinator, Wayne Evans. You're going to get a voicemail, but just leave a voicemail and we will return that call.
Absolutely.
But to your point about people feeling like because they don't preach, they don't they can't make a difference. Well, it tells us in Scripture that pastors are there to shepherd. We're the ones that are supposed to go out and actually do the work.
Right.
So we're all ministers, even if we don't carry that title.
One of the scriptures that make it happen missions we kind of found ourselves on is Ephesians 2:10, and it says, "We are the handiwork of God in the image of Christ Jesus to do good things." And here's the cool part about that: those cool things, they were prepared in advance for us to do.
That's right.
So you're sitting out there watching this and going, "No, there's nothing I can do." But I'm telling you, until the day you step over into eternity, there are opportunities for you to make it happen, for you to volunteer with Love Inc. or develop something in your church to make a difference in your community.
I tell my board all the time that if I had more volunteers, I could help more people.
Absolutely.
Because the opportunity is there for us to help people, but I don't have the people to do it.
One of the things that we have seen is the attitude of, well, someone will take care of it.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's some help that they can get somewhere.
Yeah.
And that's not necessarily the case. If you're being asked that question or you're asked that question in your mind, maybe you're the one that needs to take care of it. Maybe you need to step up and say, I can still, I may only can work 3 hours a day, but it's a good 3 hours.
Yeah.
I can make something happen in those 3 hours.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. How long have you, now you're also a pastor, how long have you been doing community service work?
In this capacity with Love Inc., it'll be 2 years in December.
Right. But
that I've been nonprofit. I'm on staff at Southside Baptist Church, and I've been there on staff for 3 years prior to this. So I'm still on staff there. The board allows me to still serve there. And I do a lot of that after hours and before hours and things like that. So, it's a total of 3 or 4 years.
Well, let me ask you this. What's your biggest takeaway? Like there's times where we go out on what we call an MSO, that's a mission service opportunity, and you're putting your shirt on and maybe you're not feeling top of your game that day. But when you get out there and you see the true appreciation, people trying to thank you and they're crying and they can't even speak.
Yeah.
There's this joy that comes up. And what's your biggest takeaway when you see someone that has helped, either in a small or large way? It doesn't matter. What's your biggest takeaway?
I'll tell you a story that encapsulates that. We had been here 3 or 4 months. We had a gentleman call, spoke Spanish, didn't speak any English at all. My volunteer coordinator at the time trying her best to talk to him, and she gets off the phone with him. She goes, "I'm going to call a Hispanic pastor."
Oh,
I looked at her. I said, "Sure,
brilliant.
Sure, pick up the phone.
Brilliant.
I'm sure they'll come running." But first phone call she made was to Pastor Tino, his Redland Baptist Church.
Okay.
He actually kind of got it duped, I guess, because he was waiting for a call from his eye doctor, and the number came up. He didn't want to send it to voicemail, so
he answered it,
and it was my volunteer coordinator. So she talked him into coming in.
Lord works in mysterious ways.
That's right. She talked him to coming in. He came in. We gave him the client, and because he was a pastor, I told him it was okay to make a home visit if that's what he wanted to do, which is what he wanted to do. So he went and he visited in the home, and what the initial need was, they were needing food. They needed a food bank. So Pastor Tino got them lined up with a food bank, but then he noticed the gentleman was missing a foot.
Oh.
Complications of diabetes.
Oh, boy.
So I got to talking to him about that, and he said that he had been trying for several years to get a prosthetic foot. So Pastor Tino called us and said, "Hey, you think we can get a prosthetic foot?" I said, "I don't think Love Inc's ever done that, but we could try." So we started working the phone. We finally found a place in Nacogdoches that they refurbish prosthetics.
Really?
And they donate them.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. So, but it was in Nacogdoches. This guy had no transportation. So Pastor Tino said, on his own time, He said, I'll take him back and forth to his appointments. So as he's riding in Nacogdoches and riding back, he's presenting the gospel to the
Sure.
guy. And every time he drops him off at home, he says, "Are you ready to accept the Lord?" And the guy's always like, "Nope, I'm good." So this goes on for 2 or 3 months because it takes a while to fit these prosthetics and things like that. He took him home one day. He started to get out the truck and he said, "Are you ready to accept the Lord as your Savior?" The guy said, "Yeah, I think I'm ready." So Pastor Tino prayed with him. Um, he accepted the Lord. He joined Pastor Tino's church.
Mm.
So that is the perfect loving story. It started from that phone call to meeting that need, to getting him connected with a pastor, to that pastor helping, and then presenting the gospel, and he gave his life to the Lord.
It's not only meeting their spiritual need, but their physical as well.
Absolutely.
And we miss that a lot of the time.
Absolutely.
Man, that's a fantastic story. And see, that's any of us could be a part of that. Brent, I thank you so much for taking time to visit with us. You know, I grew up as a preacher's kid, and so small churches. And one of the things I've seen, regardless of the size of church, is these churches have bags of spiritual seeds, gifts, talents, and abilities, but there's no fruit.
Yeah.
There's no fruit. A lot of the time, they just don't know where to plant it. I can guarantee you, Love Inc. is some good fertile ground for you to be able to cast some seeds, to get some direction, to say, "Hey, how can I do this?" You can contact Make It Happen Missions. I guarantee you, there's some fertile ground that we know about. And here's the thing: never forget, don't buy the lie, the counterfeit from the enemy that says, "Hey, you don't matter." Don't sit there thinking, "Well, I've served my time and served the Lord and I've retired." No such thing. You want to finish strong in whatever we do. Giving us the ability to use our gifts, talents, and abilities to help other people, it's what we are. You know, I believe our loving God did not send his son to this earth to die on the cross just for us to miss hell. That's a good one.
Yeah.
That is a good one. Yeah. And he also, I don't believe he sent us here just to be good people and do good things. He sent Jesus Christ to die on that cross that we can cast that image, Christ-like image, be his example, and serve people. That's what he did. And that's what Love Inc. does. That's what Make It Happen Missions does. And that's what you can do. So look at your situation, look at your congregation and say, you know, how can we love people? How can we make it happen? And I can assure you, you can make it happen. For the simple fact of the matter, that's what you do. That's what we all do. Brent, thanks again, man. Was there anything you'd like to say in closing?
Yeah, most people want to volunteer.
Mm-hmm.
They just don't know where to volunteer.
Absolutely.
They don't know what.
They don't.
They don't know what's out there. So there's that, and we've got a new mission come about, a new vision, to where we're actually. Unfortunately, when you have people that like to take advantage.
Yes,
and we come across them quite often doing what we do. What I've done now is I've come alongside the churches, and if I know there's someone in the community doing that, I send out an email.
Oh wow!
To the churches, and that enables them to. I don't tell them how to spend their money.
No,
but I'm like, hey, be aware that this guy is working in the community, and then you can make a good decision from there.
Absolutely, that's a huge help.
Mm-hmm, that's what I've found. That's it's helped tremendously. I've gotten more churches to call me and say, "Hey, put me on the list from that."
Absolutely.
So we're helping in that way too, and that wasn't our main mission, but it's becoming that.
Well, that's the thing. You want to be able. You have limited resources to help people, and you want to make sure that they go to where they need to go. And this is a great resource. If you're out there, contact Brent here. He'll be able to tell you and give you some direction. What we're going to do, we're going to put a link uh, to where people can just hit on it, go to your website, find out your contact information. And I feel certain there's somebody out there that's going to watch this, going to be re-energized and say, I'm not through yet. I am not through.
Yeah.
And once again, Brent, thank you so much, man. We appreciate it.
Yes,
We look
sir.
forward to working with you for years to come. And give him a call. And always remember, God is always more interested in doing something in us than through us. And we'll talk to you later.